Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to the Five Lug Racing Show. With you as always, my name is Don, my partner in crime, Ryan. We are here breaking down everything playoff Talladega weekend. What an amazing event that took place this past weekend. A little bit of rain mixed in the morning that made the track on the inside a little precarious, if you will. We'll get into a little bit more of that. Another JGR driver gets the W at Talladega. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But of course, we have got to mention our incredible sponsor, KK's Diecast Community, doing it again, Ryan. Kevin and them boys over there put on so many wonderful things, and this is nothing short of that. They are doing a breast cancer awareness promotion for this week's Diecast of the Week. So not only are you guys going to jump on there and bid for a diecast, he's throwing in a T-shirt and a breast cancer display that has a little pink ribbon on it. Absolutely wonderful. It looks incredible. We'll go ahead and leave his links to the KK's Diecast Community down in our description so that you can go check that out, because these diecasts are pink themed, everything that comes with the breast cancer foundation awareness. It's absolutely incredible. Some of the cars that he's got up for bid, the pink Eric Almirola number 10, that car looks awesome. We've got the liquid color Jeremy Clements. It's the 51 throwback to Dale when he ran it. I mean, it looks incredible. It has like this rose gold finish on it that is absolutely gorgeous. Of course, there's a Connor Daly 50 that's got the pink window net on it. All of this celebrating the foundation that Kevin wants to donate to over there at the Diecast Community. So the way he's running it, Ryan, is the bidding is going to start at $50. Okay, so if you win it at $50, you're going to get the T-shirt, you're going to get the diecast, and you're going to get that little stand. Okay, once the bidding starts going up, everything above $50 is going to be donated to the Breast Cancer Awareness Foundation. What an incredible promotion they are putting on. I absolutely love and admire it. On top of that, if you're not too into these cars, that's okay. You're not really into the shirt, don't worry about it. But you still want to contribute $1, $2, $5. Jump on there anyway. Let them know what you want to do, and they will take donations according to what you post on that actual page. So if you're able to do that, wonderful. If not, we understand, times get a little bit crazy, but if you're able to, absolutely jump on there and throw $1 down. Every little bit helps. Ryan, it's so great to see you, bud. Talladega was nothing short of incredible once again. A couple of late race issues for some of these guys that are playoff contenders. We saw the playoff standings take a huge swing once again. I can't wait to talk about it. I'm so glad to see you. How are you doing, bud? Let's talk some NASCAR.
I'm doing great. Hope you're doing great. I want to give a shout out to Kevin Keeling and KK's Diecast for the great cause put forth this week with the Diecast of the Week. We've teamed up to do these Diecast of the Week promotions, and this is by far the coolest one that we've done yet. I mean, not only, like you said, you're getting a car, you're getting a shirt up to 5X. So if you don't think he has your size, you're wrong. He does. We got you covered. And then you get that cool display that you could put your diecast on. It just and like you said, Don, if you're not feeling the diecast or the shirt, which by the way, you could buy those shirts from Kevin standalone if you're interested. Just reach out to him or one of us, and we'll make sure that we get you linked up so you can do so. But if you're interested in just making a donation, you just want to throw something to the cause, you can do that as well. You could go in there and just write donation, your amount, and there will be a place that you can send that. There's all the options, but it's going to the Susan G. Komen Fund. I know Kevin's sister is a survivor. One of my best female friends, my wife's best friend, she is a survivor. There's so many that have been impacted by breast cancer, and not all of our warriors have survived. And, we want to do what we can to make sure going forward, we get that research that's needed, those experimental treatments. And, this is the month to do it. So let's pile it in and let's make this a success. So thank you for your time on that. But yeah, Talladega was wild. absolutely insane. So let's talk about the truck race first. I want to give a shout out to Gio Ruggiero. Gio gets his first Craftsman Truck Series win. He holds off a hard charging teammate and Corey Heim. We think Corey Heim, here he comes, is going to get another one. Gio has, just great blocks and able to hold it off. And it was a really, really exciting end to the truck race. Reason I want to talk about them is because now Gio was not a playoff driver, so a non-playoff driver wins. But with, the accidents that take place at Talladega, if you guys remember the preview episode last week, said those initials after Talladega are DNF. Yep. It certainly happens to the best of them at a track like Talladega. Folks, the Craftsman Truck Series is entering this upcoming weekend, as all series are, on an elimination race, but they have the tightest standings of any of the three series.
Yep.
And it is tight. Rajah Caruth is sitting, so nobody's locked in except Corey Heim, by the way. We go into this weekend with only Corey Heim advanced, going into Martinsville with no stress, basically. He could set his sights on the desert if he wants to. Now, that 11 team is going to go out there and try to win that race. Don't get you wrong. I mean, homeboy Corey Heim is setting history here in the truck series and just keep adding to it. But Rajah Caruth is sitting second in points right now. Congratulations to Rajah, by the way, as they have formally announced he will be running a part-time O'Reilly's schedule next year. Man, it feels weird saying that. O'Reilly's schedule next year.
We're going to have to get you for sure.
Yeah, but congratulations to him and Junior Motorsports for getting that done together. Rajah going to be running part-time in the 88 car with another driver, I believe, to be announced, who's going to be running in that 88 as well. So stay tuned on that, folks. But yeah, Rajah's sitting second in points right now, plus 14 above the cut. That's it. 14. That's nothing. That he is not safe in any shape or form going into Martinsville this weekend. The third place driver, Tyler Ankrum, is only plus 8 above the cut. And then fourth place, Caden Honeycutt, is plus 5. Then you get to the below the cut, Ty Majeski, your series champ from last year. 5 below, making it to the Phoenix a chance to defend his title. Lane Riggs is 6 below. That's a big story, Don. Lane, you could argue, does not deserve to be sitting 6 below the cut and stressed out coming into Martinsville this weekend. Right. He's had tremendous season, arguably one of 2 of the best trucks in the entire series all year. Absolutely. And he's got his back against the wall going into the paperclip. Just yikes. And then you got 2 drivers sitting in 7th and 8th. Daniel Hemrick is minus 32 and Grant Infinger minus 40. Folks, those 2 drivers need to do one thing this weekend. They need to win.
Yep.
But everybody else, stages matter. The fastest lap could matter because that one bonus point can be the difference between above or below the cut at the end of this race. So if you could go out and get yourself the fastest lap, I know you don't really try to do that, but if it happens, that's a great boost to one of those teams that are really jockeying for position here. Yeah. But wow, that's going to be a tight one on Friday night.
Imagine, somebody making the championship for +1 and they just happen to get the fastest lap of the race. I mean, tell me that's not the most important 16, 17 seconds of your life, and it's possible, that 1 point could come down to that. So all these guys are going to be getting after it. I can't wait to watch the Truck Series at Martinsville. It's always entertaining.
Electric. Always electric.
Absolutely. So who doesn't love a little short track racing in a pickup truck? So sign me
up. On
a
Friday night. Sign me up. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And, we fast forward a day, right? The Xfinity Series takes the track. And, well, there was melee early. And it really had an impact on playoff drivers. A big impact on some. one namely Sheldon Creed. His car was absolute trash. It looked like a modified when they tried to see if they could even put that thing back on the track. They didn't. Ultimately, it went into the garage. They come in 41 points below the cut line after the unfortunate circumstances of getting caught up in a Dega wreck, the big one. Their job is simple this weekend. Got to go get it. How bad do you want it? Kill mode mentality for them. It's they've got to have it. And what a great time it would be for Sheldon Creed to rise to the occasion and get his first Xfinity Series win at a track he's more than capable of doing it.
And has been very close to adding to his second place total. He's done it at Martinsville. So more than capable of capturing a W this weekend. His counterpart in Sam Mayer, minus 22, like he's had a great season. Absolutely wonderful season to hang his hat on if he doesn't walk away with the championship this year. He's also in one of those must-win situations for Haas Factory. Both of those drivers, I mean, just hats off to them and an incredible year that they've had. What's really wild, Ryan, and I don't mean to cut you off again, but
no, you're good.
Junior motorsports cars are above the cut line right now. Now, the way it plays out, it doesn't look like all four could make it. It would take, Jesse Love being plus 40 on the cut line and Sammy Smith being 11 below. Even if Sammy were to win, that would push his junior motorsports teammate out, and it would still be 3. So it's one of those things where it's not likely that all four make it, but the fact that they're in a position to get all four of their full-time cars in the championship 4 is absolutely incredible. They have had a monster season.
Yeah, speak of that. I mean, it's impressive, and like you just said, Sammy Smith is only minus 11 below the cut. Yeah. There is one way that can happen, and it's got to be an early issue for Jesse Love,
right?
For Junior to take the top spots, or for somebody to win below and right. manipulate how that is. But Jesse Love is got to be a little bit comfortable coming in, knowing that he doesn't have to do too much extraordinary to advance to the round of 4 in Phoenix and fight for a chance for a championship. One that everybody thought it would be his teammate in Austin Hill getting the chance to do. And speaking of Austin, congratulations on the 21 team getting another restrictor plate track win. Impressive stuff on the restrictor plate tracks with those RCR cars, and Austin just finding a way to get it done once again this weekend. Didn't matter as far as the playoffs are concerned. Non-playoff driver at this point wins. He was already eliminated the last round, but that's one of the more reasons why we have a bunch of drivers who didn't lock in yet potentially. Now we do have 2 that are absolutely safe. They could breathe easy. They're sleeping well tonight. That's Connor Zilic. That's Justin Allgaier. Those guys did it in this round without a win, both having remarkable seasons.
Yep.
Connor, 83 above the cut line, 76 for the defending series champion and Justin Allgaier. They've done everything right this round, and really the last couple. Just dominant stuff all season long. The 88-7, they've been the cream of the crop. There's no denying that, and they're sitting there right now locked in without a win in this round. Impressive stuff.
Absolutely.
Really impressive stuff.
Absolutely.
Guys, the Xfinity Series, though, that last spot, that 4th place spot, that is the one that everybody's chasing. Can Carson Quaffle hold on? We know he doesn't even have a full-time ride next year. He is returning to Junior Motorsports on a part-time basis, but he could have a put-up moment and say, hey, I deserve a full-time ride. I'm going to take this team and go fight for a chance to race for a championship. I mean, we could argue his teammate has something to say about that. And Sammy Smith, who has had really good cars here in the past. This is going to be an interesting race. Brandon Jones is no slouch here. And those Haas factory team cars, they're going to all bring their all. They're going to bring their A game. So mistakes, you can't have them, especially on a short track. Folks, you make a mistake on pit road, and I feel like we've seen way too many pit road mistakes this entire playoffs in every series. Just, you can't have them. This is the time to not make those mistakes. You can't have them. You're going to cost your team laps. And they're that's a hard hole to dig out of at Martinsville. You go a couple laps down, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So really, really exciting stuff for the Xfinity series this weekend coming up as well. That is going to be a night race as well. So, we're going Friday night, Saturday night, which leads us into, going to be going into the cup race on Sunday with the cup guys. They're going to race in the afternoon, leading into that twilight a little bit. We'll get back to that in just a moment because we got to talk about Talladega.
Let's talk Talladega Cup race because there are a few talking points that I think some of our followers would like us to give our opinions on. I know we've discussed it behind the scenes a little bit. Right off the jump, let's talk about the 19 team and Chase Briscoe, James Small getting it done at Talladega, punching their ticket to the championship 4. That's the second JGR car to win in this round of the playoffs. That's the 5th JGR win of the 2025 playoffs, Ryan. What is going on in that Toyota camp?
8 races, 5 wins. That team is on fire.
Yeah.
As a whole, and you talk about team, it takes a team, right? Well, I'm going to give a shout out to the 54 car of Ty Gibbs, because Ty Gibbs pushes his teammate to a win to give him that bid to go fight for a championship in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Ty Gibbs gets a lot of flack sometimes for, is he a good teammate? Is he not a good teammate? Well, in this instance,
self-inflicted on Ty Gibbs. I'm just going to add that. That's self-inflicted on Ty Gibbs.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. He put a little bit of a Band-Aid on it this weekend because, what he did, that selflessness, that, a guy who's looking for his first career win himself easily could have tried to jockey that up and leave his teammate and go try to get around the 23 car himself. He didn't. He stayed in line with the 19 car, pushed Chase Briscoe. But I the end of this race, the way it shaped out, was absolute insanity. We had sat and know we're going to an overtime, right? There's an accident. We know we're going to overtime. We had sat and listened to crew chief say, "You're good. You're good on fuel for this one. If we get to a second, I don't know, probably going to have to pit." Right. One of those, Cliff Daniels and Kyle Larson. Cliff does not make this mistake 9 times out of 10.
Right.
And they just didn't have enough. They run out on the backstretch. And I want to tell you, hats off to Kyle Larson, because as soon as he felt that thing burp just ever so the slightest, he pulls right out of line.
Yeah, he bailed.
and avoided what could have been a massive accident.
Yeah.
And that was a veteran championship driver move, because not only could it would have cost him his car, but others that are racing and jockeying for points. He didn't want to mess up any of those guys' races, right? Including one, his own teammate who was behind him at that time, and William Byron, who also is jockeying for position and points, only to get a little bit further down the road and get dumped anyway at the end of this thing. And so, I mean, tough half mile for the 5 and 24. They both saw themselves lose about 25 plus points in just a half a mile, both of them. Absolute madness. And, Chase Briscoe prevails, just sets it up beautifully. And I want to, say that team overcame a penalty speeding. There was quite a few speeding penalties, either in or out on the first sequence coming into pit road under green flag stops. And those guys got woed up or not woed up quick enough or tried to get off too quick. And, Briscoe was one of them. I know Kyle Busch was one. There's a handful of speeding penalties early in this race. They had to rebound from that, and it worked out in their favor. But yeah, congratulations to the 19 crew, Chase Briscoe, James Small. You guys did it. You're on to Phoenix. Joining Denny Hamlin as the two drivers locked in to the championship 4 race. That leaves 2 spots open right now, held by Kyle Larson, and the other one is held by Christopher Bell, another JGR car.
Spicy Bell.
Spicy Bell, who has been spicy this postseason.
Yeah.
And now we go into a track. If he jogs into his memory bank, probably sitting right towards the front of it right now, of what happened to him in last year's race 1 year ago. So with the whole Chevy blockade drama and how the race, you're not supposed to ride the wall. Did he intentionally do it or not? And, we all know how it played out. William Byron gets the spot. Bell eliminated from the playoffs, even though he finished higher than Byron at that moment. Right. They viewed Bell's move illegal, and it went to Byron. But don't think for a moment that that's not in Christopher Bell's memory bank coming into this weekend. But also the thing is, Don, we'll just say it right now. The 20 car and the 5 car, they're racing each other. That's it. Yep. When it comes down to it this weekend, Christopher Bell is plus 37 above the cut line. Kyle Larson is plus 36 above the cut line. In reality, those points should do it. They should get you there. However, the reality is that there's drivers sitting 5th through 8th in this point standing that are going to give it their all and try to win the race. And if they win the race, then either Christopher Bell or Kyle Larson is not going to get a chance to sit in Phoenix for a chance to win a championship. So the 5 is going to have to know where the 20 is at all times, and the 20 is going to be knowing where the 5 is at all times. They're seemingly locked in on each other, and neither of them two can afford misfortune. And we talked about the mistakes, pit road mistakes or whatever. You can't have it. You're got one job this weekend. If you're the 20, beat the 5. Yep. If you're the 5, you got to beat the 20 by 2 spots. Right. Because the 20 has you on a point, So and then it's just a matter of also the 20 is going to have a tiebreaker on wins.
Yeah.
So you can't
the 5 car. So if they end up tied, Christopher Bell is going to get the edge on that aspect, having more wins than Larson. Coming into 25, I would not have guessed Christopher Bell having more wins than Kyle Larson. I just would have never would have guessed it. But Christopher Bell is incredibly talented, and it would not surprise me if it comes down to the end of this thing, and for as consistent of a season as Christopher Bell's had, he gets the edge over Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson has not been Kyle Larson since May, Memorial Day weekend. We've been saying it all season long. Something missed between May 28th and now, where yes, they're starting to find themselves back in the top 10, back in the top 5 again. But that we're used to seeing Kyle Larson win 5 races a year, and it just hasn't been that story this year. So maybe some of his competition is caught up. Maybe some of Cliff Daniels' competition on the box is caught up. And hey, I'm here for it. Don't get me wrong. I know when Kyle Larson wins races, it's great for the sport. It's great for the fans. It's huge. But on the same note, it's really cool to see other fans and other teams win so that they get to experience that magic too. So sign me up for all of it.
Yeah, and I want to say Kyle Larson and team missed their shot in Vegas. Right. They had a rocket ship, and as did his teammate in Byron, quite honestly. But that 5 car was on rails, and late race strategy played a factor, and they just couldn't get back to the front. And the 11 car capitalized, and he's the one that punched his ticket to Phoenix, and not the 5 car. Where if you watched, I don't know, the first 75% or 80% of that race, you were thinking, okay, the 5's probably going to have a great shot of winning this race. It's going to be hard for them to lose this race. And well, they lost the race. So, there's a reason why you have to race the whole race. And that's going to be no different this weekend in Martinsville. We look at these standings and say, okay, we just Bell, Larson. There's going to be big eyes on those two. But let's talk about William Byron for a second. 36 below the cut. Mathematically can point his way in if Bell or Larson have an issue early on in stage one.
Right.
Because there are stage points to be accumulated. And stage wins can matter and factor into this. A bad stage for the 20 or the 5 could make them sweat a little bit. Byron and Joey Logano is minus 38. It's going to be tough. Those extra 2 points, the win advantages with Bell and Larson and Byron ahead of him. Logano's got to do something special this weekend called win the race. Same thing with his teammate who's right behind him, minus 47. Ryan Blaney knows what he's got to do. Win. And he's done that when his back's against the wall. The last couple seasons,
right?
Does Ryan Blaney have more magic up his sleeve? Does Jonathan on top of the pit box have that car dialed in this weekend? And do they put that rocket ship out there and say, nope, the 12 car will not be denied a trip to Phoenix? Or do we have another HMS car that we haven't talked about yet in Chase Elliott, who's 62 below the cut? They got nothing but a win in their mind.
Yeah.
Points don't matter.
Right.
Stages don't matter. It's got to be, we got to take the checkered flag.
Let me ask you something real quick, Ryan, because this is a really intriguing subject. We're going to be watching William Byron and maybe Joey Logano play a different strategy than Chase Elliott. And what I mean by that is with William Byron being a little bit closer in points, he has the opportunity to go get 9, 8, 10 points per stage, right? Then he would only need 10 or 12 positions on your Kyle Larson, your Christopher Bell. So that mathematically makes more sense. So William Byron is going to be racing a completely different strategy than your Joey Logano's, your Ryan Blaney's, your Chase Elliott's, and then your Christopher Bells and Kyle Larson's, who are just going to be racing each other. So
right.
You've got these 6 guys. There's only 2 guys that feel comfortable this weekend. Okay. Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe. They ain't got to worry about nothing. Yes, they want trophies. Yes, they want those big bonus checks, all that good stuff that comes with it. Celebrate with their teams and their owners and their sponsors. But these 6 guys are going to be on such different strategies. I don't expect to see a lot of stage racing for Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott. I expect them to flip in that final stage and put themselves in the best position possible to be at the front of this field at the end of this race, because that's the only way they're going to have an opportunity at it. Points do them no good, like you said. So all these different strategies that these 6 playoff drivers are going to be into, that story itself is going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait.
Yeah, and you bring up a very, very important thing, that track position. Folks, the track position here is invaluable. You can't put a price tag on it.
Yep.
This is a tough track undoubtedly to pass on. And, the racing grooves are minimal as well. So, you get 2 lanes in the corners, and the top lane doesn't always have the preferred launch, So, track position is absolutely everything. Speed is going to matter here. How good you are under braking is going to matter here, because that's going to affect your handling in the corners and allow you to get in and out of those the paperclip turns that we have here. And we get to see a left side tire this weekend, Don, that is going to be made to fall off more. So
love it.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. We need that on these shorter tracks. So, tire wear could possibly play a factor in this whole thing as well.
Yeah. Take care of their tires best to get them to the end of this race and a chance to fight for a championship. That is such a huge story that's really under the radar as far as who of these drivers is going to be able to take care of those tires at the end of this race? Are they going to get a lucky caution where they're not going to have to worry about the tires? One of those 30 laps to go, 40 lap to go cautions where everybody comes in, gets 4 fresh stickers, and they're just all out for the rest of the race. Or are we going to be at a 120 lap run at the end of this thing where people's tires are literally falling off their cars? I'm so excited. I get chills thinking about it, man.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, this is it. I mean, you've got to have it this weekend. Yep. There's nothing past this weekend for you if you're in the bottom 5 through 8.
Yep.
You go to Phoenix and race, yes, but it's not for what you wanted to race for, know, and at the end of the day, we've got right now, JGR's got a 50% chance of winning a championship. At the end of the day, after Martinsville, they might have a 75% chance of winning a championship. And, we look at who can potentially take that 4th spot if Bell does advance. And we got 4 former champions and 1 in William Byron, who was a regular series champion this year. The teams that are going up against each other right now literally are what we would consider the best that we've seen in the business the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And the ones that are always towards the top, your Kyle Larson, your Byron, your Logano, your Blaney, your Elliott. And, I can't wait to see how this plays out because there's so much strategy, like you said, and parity in this. I can't wait. Is it Sunday yet? And we have 2 other races that are going to be just as exciting before it, but the drama that's going to unfold is absolute madness, and I can't wait for it.
It truly is madness. This is the reason we watch, and I want to elaborate on what you just said. You talked about 4 champions being in this round of 8. 4 of these drivers have the opportunity to go on to a championship 4. All of these drivers are proven winners at this level of racing. And the reason I'm bringing this up, Ryan, is because there's a lot of negative talk on the playoffs and everything that comes with it, whether you're for it, against it, whether you want a different point standings or you want to bring the chase back. I love all the different ideas and opinions that come through. But you can't deny that the fact that we have 3 JGR cars, right? We've got 3 Hendrick Motorsports cars, right? And then, with Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney, the past 3 champions of the sport, the best of the best have risen to the occasion. Whether your driver has made it or not, listen, we're fans of the sport too. Some of our drivers are not making the championship, and that's okay. It's are the best of the season making the final 8, making the final 4. And right now it really does seem like this system has produced the best of the best for the 2025 season. I'm just going to leave it at that. I know the NASCAR's announced they're going to make some changes to what we're used to seeing the last few years. I think that's going to be a lot of fun to see how that materializes and plays out for everybody as far as fans' concerns, as far as the points and the playoffs are concerned. I get it. NASCAR's making some changes. Cool. Awesome. But you can't deny that the 8 guys that we're looking at, the 8 drivers in the Cup Series, have earned the right to be in the top 8 at the end of this season.
Yeah. It's madness. Now, I'll give you another one. I'm a stats guy, right?
Yeah, hit me with it.
Of these 8 drivers, you ready? The top 6 in driver average finish in the last 7 races are all out of this 8 drivers.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
You're Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe.
Yep.
Folks, that's insane. And then we come to a Martinsville where, it's a heavyweight fight. Now, 2 of those guys, the last 2 in that running order, are Hamlin and Briscoe. They're good this weekend. They're good, but don't think that they're not going to go out there and try to win. I know Chase Briscoe went and did sim this week for Martinsville. It was scheduled. He did it. And, hey, I say, it's best to write with a sharpened pencil over a dull one, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
let's keep at it, and let's keep our our nose to the grindstone, and go out there and do what we do, and that's race and go for a win. Because if you're racing for a win this weekend, and you're locked in, and you do win, you keep somebody that is below you that could have a chance to beat you in Phoenix from getting that chance to advance. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
what's that saying? Sometimes a good defense is a good offense.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely. Take it away from them, take their opportunity away from them, give yourself a better chance moving forward. If you don't like it, if you don't like that style, go out there and beat them.
exactly.
Do that to your competitors.
And I'm going to tell you what, the guy who has arguably been the most consistent driver this year, and he certainly got the most wins in the series to back it up. This is a home track for him, and he is no stranger to winning a grandfather clock at Martinsville, and
Yeah,
that's Denny Hamlin. I mean, Denny can take all the momentum into Phoenix with a win this weekend.
absolutely.
Um, and that's just the other thing. This is sports are momentum based, and you catch that momentum. Well, I mean, we see what Joe Gibbs Racing as a blanket is doing to this playoffs.
Yeah,
We had one driver win this postseason that was not in the postseason at the time they won, which was Shane Van Gisbergen.
right.
That's it. And that's just insanity when you think about it, because you eliminate that out of it, and then that means you only had Ryan Blaney get a win, and the other was
Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott. Yeah, exactly. And the odd part of that is those two are 7th and 8th in points right now.
Yep.
So it goes to show you that you need consistent good finishes too, not just wins.
Yep.
The way that this format goes, you need that consistency too. Sure, a win will bail them out this weekend, but
And
that's no
that's
guarantee.
just a part of the system. The reason I brought that up is because for the amount of slack that this system has gotten from some of the fan base, and it's not everybody, a lot of the fan base, they have an open mind towards, okay, this is the system, is my driver going to go out there and do it or not? That's great. For the people that are upset at the system, I just want you to take a moment to step back and actually look at it as a whole. It's not like we're seeing 8 guys from 25th and below in the standings making the round of 8 in the championship 4. Like, that's not the reality of it. The best of the best are rising when it matters most. And that's the point that I just wanted to bring up to some of the fans and followers that do have exceptions with this format of racing, because I know there are people out there like that, and there's nothing wrong with taking exception to the style that is presented to you, but it is what we have. Racing can be taken away from us in an instant, and then what do we have to complain about? So it's one of those things. But I know you're my stats guy. We got our averages. Let's talk a little bit more about Martinsville and what we can expect. And we got to do our pick 'em spotlight, bud.
Yes, sir. And well, the averages are like that, and if you're a Ryan Blaney fan, you're licking your chops this week because he has the 4.6 average finish that covers the field here. It's the best in the field in the last 7 races. That includes 2 wins, 5 top 5s, 6 top 10s. Folks, I told you that was in 7 races, so he had 1 outside the top 10. That's it.
Yeah.
That's getting it done here at Martinsville.
Yep.
That's just absolutely getting it done. Somebody else that has a win here right behind him with a great average finish is Kyle Larson, 5.4. He's got that win. And similar stats, 5 top 5, 6 top 10s. Joey Logano is a guy who absolutely needs it too. And he's right behind in that 5.6. He does not have a win here, but he's consistent here. He gets the top 10s. He leads laps. Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, though. Let's talk about Denny real quick. I just said it. Denny can take all the momentum, take all the wind out of everybody else's sails by winning here this weekend and going to Phoenix. Because dude has led in the last 7 races 23.6% of the laps. That is the best in the entire field. Right behind him is Chase Elliott. So Elliott fans, gotta love it. Your guy knows how to lead laps here and get finishes. But Denny does have a win here in the last 7 where Chase doesn't. Um, you know, it's going to be really, really exciting. I always say averages matter. The cream's rising to the top this weekend, Don. It's a matter of who's going to make the mistakes. That's where I'm going to lay it all out. Who wins this weekend is going to be the one who likely makes the least amount of mistakes,
Yeah,
capitalizes on how quick they can get on and off pit road during a pit stop without making that mistake. You got to walk that wire this weekend, and I am so excited and ready for it, Don. It's that time because I know everybody else is at home too, where our picks are going to lie, where we think that this is going to play out. It's the pick'em spotlight. And for the last time, we got the playoff pick'em spotlight because next week it's the championship
that's right.
pick'em.
Yep.
So, I am excited to lay down our last dark horse of the year. It's been such a fun season, Don. I can't believe this is the last dark horse we're laying down this weekend here. Where'd the season go? But
Sure, man. And I wouldn't have wanted to spend it with anybody else other than you, Ryan. Thank you for all your hard work and dedication that you put into Five Lug Racing and our followers and fans. It's absolutely beautiful what we've been able to build here, and not a single moment it could be done without you. So thank you for all that, bud.
appreciate it, but it's a team effort, my man, and you're just as important to this as well. And I can't wait because 26 is going to be so much fun. We got so much fun stuff cooking for the off season, and we're not going away, folks. So you guys are going to miss racing just as much as we do. That's why we're going to bring you some off season content as well.
Yep.
But yeah, it's that time, and I'm going to give you my pick'em spotlight dark horse right now. I'm laying it on you. And it is what it is. It's Ryan Blaney. And you could call it the low hanging fruit. You could call it whatever you want. But Ryan Blaney is Ryan effing Blaney when it comes to Martinsville Raceway here. And, if there's ever a moment for Jonathan Hassler and Ryan Blaney to just go, it's Martinsville. Let's go do what we do best. And let's go get this thing. It's this weekend. A track that they have all the confidence in the world at. Why not here? And that's why I say Blaney's my dark horse this weekend.
I don't think there's a weekend that has gone by where I have argued one of your picks, because you're so detailed and you're so excellent at what you bring to the table. And Ryan Blaney is no exception to that. He's a Ryan effing Blaney. He's a NASCAR effing champion. So, I expect nothing less than to see that championship mentality be brought to Martinsville this weekend from Ryan Blaney. Great pick, but I love the dark horse. My dark horse, I've been going back and forth. I know we discussed a little bit before we did our recording. From the 8 guys left in the playoffs, flip an 8-sided coin, because every single one of these drivers is capable of going into that half-mile paperclip and pulling out of there with a brand new shiny grandfather clock. I think I'm gonna have to go with a Chevy. Let's go with William Byron as my dark horse. And William Byron is more than capable of qualifying well, practicing well, leading a ton of laps, and finding himself at the front of this race when it's all said and done. He's got a great organization. He's got a great team behind him to do it. The kid is incredible at this style of racing, among all other facets. He's won at all different types of tracks. Everything's on the line. He needs a ton of points, but right now it's get a W and get yourself into Phoenix and a chance to win that championship. Give me 24 William Byron, Hendrick Motorsports, Chevrolet Camaro, bud.
I absolutely love that pick. And, again, like you said, any of them, pick one, but there's just so much that goes behind a 24 car winning at Martinsville. And, I think back to the later years of Jeff Gordon's season and had to have it moment, and they go out and get it done and give him a chance to go get another championship, which unfortunately he came up short. But, that win just meant so much to Jeff in his career,
Yeah.
on the back end of it. And just, William Byron gets a chance to make a name for his career. Not that he hasn't,
Right.
but that would be the ultimate moment to go out there in a have to have it moment and just go win. Just go
Yep.
win, baby. It's like, hey, winning solves everything right now. And they're not happy at all with how this postseason has gone for them at all.
Especially being the regular season champions. We saw a similar fate last year with Tyler Reddick, where he was just really struggling to find that consistency in the playoffs. He landed an incredible Homestead win that found his way to the championship in Phoenix. We don't have a Homestead event in the round of 8 this year. What William Byron has is a Martinsville track that he's extremely talented at. So it's more than capable and possible for him to find a way to get there for sure.
Absolutely. Now, for the favorites, again, you could say it's a low-hanging fruit, but I think that a good offense is a good defense here, and that's why Denny Hamlin is just going to go out and sweep Martinsville this year. He got his first win of the season, which really just propelled what happened throughout the whole season here for this 11 team. When they got that win, not only was it the first race for Progressive, but it was like, a sigh of relief because they had landed such a marquee sponsor, coming into the season a little light on sponsor.
Yeah.
And man, did he back up. You don't realize the stress of the business side of this sport.
Right.
And all that goes into it, the nuances. Don, we're learning it this year. Those at home still aren't privy to that information of that business side of the sport that we've been fortunate enough to be able to take on and learn. And it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Right.
And, losing that FedEx sponsorship that they had for years, for his entire career, and then to land a Progressive, go out and get him a win in their first race. It set the tone for his whole season. And he had an absolute rocket ship at Martinsville this year.
Yep.
I think that he's going to back it up here and just say, you know what? The championship comes through Denny Hamlin this year.
Yep.
And that's just it. What a better way to set the tone going to Phoenix than saying, you know what? It's the 11 team, 11 versus the world, right? That's what he said. Well, here's your chance. Here's your chance to keep Byron, Logano, Blaney, Elliott, keep them out of the drivers that can go beat you. And in Phoenix, deal with the fact you got to race a couple of your teammates and a Kyle Larson, who's no slouch there. That's assuming that, one of those two don't have an issue that others can creep in. But I mean, if a Hamlin or even a Briscoe were to win this weekend, it eliminates a lot of probability for those others to get in. And man, I'll tell you what, Denny Hamlin, I think, is ripe for this occasion this year. This just feels like the Denny race that he puts his stamp on the season going into Phoenix this weekend.
I love it. Lock it in. The 11 car gets the W at Martinsville this weekend. That's Ryan's pick for the favorite. I can't argue it. I got nothing to argue it. The only thing that I think would hinder the 11 team from winning a race is the potential of Denny finding himself in a position of, do I want to upset anybody up here going into next week, where some of these guys might have a little bit less to lose than he will as far as Phoenix goes. That's the only thing I can see Denny possibly checking out and getting out of the way. And I don't want this smoke, but that's still not Denny's mentality.
That's not his MO at all. And if this was a drafting track, I would say, yeah, I agree. Yeah. But it's not. This is a Denny Hamlin bread and butter track.
Yeah.
He's going to be in the mix. He's going to have something to say.
It'll be on 11 car playground like a lot of these tracks are. He's found his way to win at so many different styles of racing. Martinsville's no exception to that. He's running out of space for clocks at his house. I assure you, he does not have a problem adding another one. I love your pick, Ryan. You went with a Ford and you went with a Toyota, so I'm going to go ahead and fill up another Chevy slot with my favorite, and you can kind of 1A, 1B my picks. But the 5 car of Kyle Larson, I think he's got a lot to prove this weekend. I know he's got a lot of question marks he's got to fill as far as his mentality and getting back on the right track. what better way to do that than getting a win at Martinsville and just taking care of that final championship slot and racing for a championship next week with Cliff Daniels and that gang. It's primed up for a Kyle Larson show. Can Kyle Larson find that magic that he's been able to carry for so many seasons in a row that seemed to be missing for the last 4 or 5 months? Kyle Larson's going to be at the front of this pack. They're going to practice well. They're going to qualify well. And above all else, everybody's trying to keep that 22-12 out of the championship for next week. And 6 of these guys do not want to see that car next week at Phoenix, or those cars, at Phoenix. So listen, I know we have our jokes about the Penske cars going to Phoenix. We're just going off the numbers that we have, which is 22 championship, 12 championship, 22 championship. And, it's the same story this year, headed to Phoenix for the championship. Keep Penske out of the championship board. You give yourself a better shot at a trophy. And so Kyle Larson's going to take full advantage of that opportunity if he can, and make sure he gets in and make sure those Fords stay the heck out of the championship four. But give me the 5 car. Give me the Chevrolet Camaro, the other Hendrick Motorsports car that we're dealing with. Chase Elliott is extremely talented here. I just don't think they have the magic to get themselves into winning position. They've had a magical season as far as their 2 wins and everything that comes with it. I just don't see it materializing at Martinsville through what they have to deal with in all these other drivers. So, go ahead and sign me up for the 5 car and a Kyle Larson win this Sunday.
Love it. And I'll tell you what, Kyle Larson is more than capable of putting BTA to the rest of this field this weekend. Yep. There's no better pairing than Cliff Daniels, Kyle Larson to go out and get it when you need it. And, it's just, that's what champions do. But I just think back to, when Kyle did get his win here, just how dominant that car was. I mean, there was just no getting around it. He had just so much speed, the braking ability that they've been able to show here. And it's impressive, the numbers that he puts up here at this place. So, I absolutely love the Kyle Larson pick. He's a champion of this sport. He's a champion of this track. He knows how to get it done. Yep. And like you said, a Kyle Larson win assures him a chance to Phoenix, and also assures him that he's likely not have to go up against the 22 or 12. And that's what everybody's goal is if you're above that cut line right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ryan, another wonderful episode. We're at the second to last race of the season. It's mind-blowing. It doesn't make any sense how we've gone through almost 40 weeks of a season together, but we've done it. We're doing it again. We're not going to stop doing it. And we are taking all of our friends and fans and followers along with us. Make sure you're liking. Make sure you're subscribed to us. All the good stuff comes with it. Go check out our Facebooks. Go check out our Instagrams. We're in the works of possibly firing up a TikTok this offseason. We're going to kind of join the 2025 crowd and get some content up in TikTok so that our fans and followers that are on there can enjoy it too. But another wonderful episode, Ryan. Thank you so much for everything you do. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Y'all take care.